Here to talk about the segment routing use case on ONOS, but I'm going to take a slightly different angle. My name is Saurav Das. I'm the project lead for this project called Spring Open that was started and funded by the Open Networking Foundation. And it's about SDN-based control of open segment routers. So let me tell you why the ONF is funding an open source project. So the motivation from the ONF's point of view is that, well, SDN and OpenFlow have been successful, but really largely in data centers with software switches and in overlay networks. But when it comes to hardware switches, there's many misconceptions that abound, right? About how OpenFlow is not mature, it doesn't work on current hardware, it doesn't scale, and so on. Okay. But the truth is that OpenFlow has steadily evolved towards production readiness, starting with the version 1.1 of the protocol to the more recent versions like the stable 1.3 versions and so on, right? But even though OpenFlow has evolved and it evolved much to support existing hardware, overwhelmingly we find that in the industry as well, surprisingly, even in research, we find that the mentality of folks are still very much along the OpenFlow 1.0, the 5-year-old protocol with single table, that approach. So the ONF's technical advisory group then felt, okay, what can we do about this, right? And so here's the project goals. They felt that, well, why don't we start this project that would demonstrate the maturity and scale of the ONF's work product on hardware that exists today. You don't have to wait for new hardware. You can use hardware that exists today and demonstrate all of this, and you would use the latest stable versions of the ONF protocols, for example, OpenFlow 1.3. And so if we go through this exercise, we can even provide feedback to the ONF working groups, what works, what doesn't work, what can we do, where are the gaps, and so on. And finally, we hope that we can promote adoption by creating this core kernel that others, third parties, can take and then build upon towards deployment, interoperability, differentiation, and so on. Now, when the ONF started this project, when the TAG, the Technical Advisory Group, was thinking about this project, they said, you know what, we don't really just want to make a switch, or we just don't want to make a controller, or we just don't want to make a driver. We want to build an end-to-end system, a prototype, but an end-to-end system, which will have the switch, will have a network topology, it'll have the system, and it'll demonstrate a useful networking scenario. And the scenario that they came up with was to demonstrate segment routing. So why segment routing, or what is segment routing? So segment routing is a very new concept, fairly new concept. Last couple of years in the IETF, in the Spring working group, they are developing this concept. And Spring stands for Source Packet Routing in Networking. I'll tell you why. There's a lot to like about segment routing. Okay, just like SDN, it eliminates a lot of the complex distributed protocols, for example, LTP and RSVP-TE. It uses the source routing paradigm via segments, and these segments really just, it could translate to the native IPv6 data plane, but it could also translate into labels in MPLS, which is what we are demonstrating. And it introduces the concept of globally significant labels. Traditional MPLS is only locally significant labels. That's still there in segment routing, but in addition, you have globally significant labels, which makes network operation and whole lot simpler. It makes it a whole lot easier to debug as well. So there's a lot of things to like about segment routing. And the way I like to think about segment routing, it is really a better MPLS network in operation without any actual change to the MPLS data plane. So that's great, right? So how is ON Lab involved? Well, it's the controller of choice for this project. Now, ONOS is a lot of things. It's a platform for multiple services, and you've seen that in some of the other use cases like packet optical, BGP, NFV coming forward. It also works with a whole bunch of other switches like software switches and optical switches, and hopefully newer hardware switches. But as far as Spring Open, the project is concerned, we want to demonstrate segment routing using ONOS as a platform and on existing hardware switches. So what are these hardware switches? Well, we are very lucky to have Dell involved with us. Dell Networking has always been on the forefront of this open networking. They have taken their equipment and said that, look, we'll put our operating system on it, but we'll also let other operating systems run on it. We'll let Cumulus run on it. We'll let big switches switch light run on it. So they are very much involved in the open networking movement. We're very happy to have them. In this particular project, they use the Force 10 operating system and then changed that, adapted it for the hardware abstraction that was required by this project, the Spring Open project. And why did they have to do it? Because the chip inside it, the merchant silicon chip inside it, already supported MPLS. It just wasn't exposed to the outside world. So they had to change their operating system to have these tables, or rather the abstraction of these tables, being exposed to the outside world so you could control it from outside using a controller. In reality, the chip probably has 10 or 20 tables, but the controller doesn't need to know all that level of detail. It really just needs to know an abstract level of detail. Think of this pipeline as a contract between the controller and the switch. So it's a contract that they sign that says that, hey, as a controller, I'm going to program these tables, and the switch, when it gets those commands, it knows exactly what to do because they have signed this contract between them. So we have developed a prototype and a demonstration on Dell hardware, as well as software switches that emulate the exact same pipeline. So the advantage of doing that is you can do the controller development of the software switches, and then when the hardware is ready, you can easily move over from the emulated hardware to the real hardware, just because they all conform to the same pipeline, the same abstraction, the same contract. So this network that I'm going to show you, these are all segment routers. Some of them are edge routers, and some of them are core routers. These will switch only on the basis of MPLS, BGP free core. These will have IP and MPLS rules as well. And then we have subnets that are connected to these, and reachable subnets and hosts in them that we will use to ping between each other. So we have demonstrated a bunch of things, right? We have shown the ability to use these global labels in segment routing to enable communication. For example, if this host wants to communicate with that one, then the controller knows that to reach it, it needs to use the global label 106 to reach that one. So this router pushes it on. This router just swaps with the same label, so it actually doesn't push or pops labels, just let the same label come in, same label going out. This is the continue operation in segment routing terminology. This one is the penultimate hop before that router, so it pops off the label and sends the naked IP packet to 106, and that's how. Now the fact is, in segment routing, you also use the ECMP shortest paths between any two routers. So this communication will actually go over multiple paths. So even if one of those or two of those go down, it'll use the remaining ECMP shortest path. So we have done this, we've shown this as well. One unique feature that we use is called consistent loop-free updates. So when we update the topology from the controller, we do it in a consistent way so that there are never any micro loops that are formed in the network, not even temporarily. We've shown other things. We can create loose hop tunnels. So in fact, you can loosely define a tunnel in this network to override the behavior of ECMP shortest paths, and you can apply policies to those tunnels, and those policies can be prioritized. We can create strict hop tunnels that can in fact do fine-grained traffic engineering as we expect, or as we expect from MPLS networks. We use things like adjacency segments, which is another segment routing terminology that allows us to select certain outgoing links and instead of all the outgoing links. We can also use adjacency segments to do other things like load balancing along non-ECMP paths. So by defining an adjacency segment like this, notice that the ECMP shortest path from there to here would only go this way, but creating this hash allows us to do traffic engineering over non-ECMP paths. And finally, we do things like this, which we call segment stitching. For example, you can create a really long-winded tunnel that requires a big label stack. And the thing with hardware is sometimes the deep label stacks are not supported. Maybe there's a limit of 2 or 3 labels that you can push on. And notice, all of these tunnels in segment routing, the entire path that is taken through the network is completely determined at the source because it's a source routing paradigm, right? So the entire path through the network is determined by the labels that you push at the source. So if you have to push, say, 4 labels, and your hardware only allows you to push, say, 3, well, what do? That's when the controller steps in and says that that's fine, I'll push 3 over there, but I'll push 1 more somewhere down the road, right? Somewhere down the road in the network. And so we say that these segments are stitched together, right? And this is something that we have shown also in our prototype. So we've built all this on hardware switches from Dell, well, segment routers from Dell. These are all installed in the lab at ONLab. And we are using ONOS to control this hardware, and that's what I'm going to demonstrate this to you. There's a lot that we have put on the wiki as well, so if you're interested, please do take a look. And now I'm going to do this demo where I'm first going to show you the CCMP using global labels. And let's see, software switches. So what we have here is this ongoing communication, but I'm going to show you the controller CLI. It's actually probably very hard for you to see. Yeah, I'm trying. So as you can see, there are now, this is exactly the same topology. There's 8 switches, and if I do show link, I can see 16 links that are represented over there. I also have a live ping going on between them, but before I show you that, I can see that. So on the first switch, now remember, this is not, usually in OpenFlow demonstrations you'll see a single table. This is OpenFlow 1.3. So we can look at multiple tables over here. So for example, I can show you the IP table, and those are the rules and all the destination IPs that you can match on and the instructions that happen for them. I can show you the MPLS table. And sorry, there's a bit of a wraparound here, but yeah, can't show that. But again, this shows you all the labels that you can match on and the instructions that happen to packets that match on those. I can also show you the ACL table. There's nothing in there right now. And finally, I can show you the ECMP groups that are being taken by the packets. So in fact, I can watch these ECMP groups, and this will update every couple of seconds. And you can see that these packets, out of group 6, there's actually 3 buckets over here, and that's what's being taken. Each of these buckets push this label 106, and they go out of different output ports, basically 2, 3, and 4, or 3, 4, and 5. So that's the ECMP happening at the ingress router, which is what I've shown you. I can go and look at the next router up, let's say router number 2, and look at its MPLS table. And as I watch that, I can also see that this is the label 106, as I say, that's been matched on, and the packet counters are increasing. And essentially all this is saying is that, I don't want to do anything to that label, just let it go forward, right? Yes, question?
Quick question. The response time as you type it is very quick. I'm wondering, is this data coming from the switch? Are you querying the switch, or is it straight from the controller as the controller perceives what is programmed?
No, this is coming from the switch. So this particular instance is coming, this is being shown on software switches. So this is running basically in my laptop. But I also have over here, this is now connected to ONLab. So this is the Dell switches, right? And I can do the same thing over here. I can do show switch, let's see, 93, 68, table IP, and it'll show me, and it took just as long, right, to look at the IP table, or for example, the MPLS table. So all this information is real time. There's actually an OpenFlow message going to the switch, it's getting the reply, pushing it out to the CLI.
Okay. And do you expect that to change, particularly as you think about a deployment like this, where this is geographically distributed? How do you imagine that response time changing?
Yeah, it'll change, for sure. It's just, you have to build the system right. This is really a lab demonstration. It's a lab prototype. It's a small prototype. All of the rules, well, a lot of the rules will change once you do it geographically. That's our hope, That's the ONF's hope, that somebody takes this and actually builds a product that takes care of those things in a system like that. So the reason why I'm showing this, most of the demo on the software switch is because I don't trust the VPN connection back into the OLAP. So I'll show you this demo a little bit more on the software switches and then show exactly the same thing on the hardware switches for Dell, right? So one thing I wanted to show, so I've already shown you this path. Now, when we go to the tunnel, I want to show how easy it is to create a tunnel and apply a policy to that switch. The next slide, actually. So that red tunnel over there, we'll actually create that by going into config mode and then saying, okay, let me create a tunnel, let's call it TX. And then let's start at node 101, which is the first ingress router. Then go to node 102, that's following the red tunnel. Then node 103. And at 103, there are two outgoing ports, so I want to select one of them. So I'm just going to say adjacency, and my adjacency choices are, let's see, 103005. Then I'm going to go to node 104. And finally, I'm going to terminate the tunnel at node 106 and get out of here. So if I do show tunnel, I can see now that this is what I entered. This is my tunnel ID TX. There's no policies that are applied to it right now. But this is the path that I had entered, and that reduces to a label stack that looks like this. The reason it reduces is because the tunnel is actually applied in the first router, and it already points to the second router, so we don't actually need those two labels. At router 102, the first label we'll see is 103, which is at the top of the stack. If I go in and look at this switch where this tunnel is applied, and I look at its group table, because it is an ECMP group, you can see down here that the process of creating that tunnel created these three ECMP groups where the labels are pushed. This is a group chain where the labels are pushed exactly as you expect. 103, 103005, and 106, right? And finally you'll go out of the port that is pointing towards 102. But notice, there's still no packets on this. The packets are still going along the original ECMP path that sprays it out. So to make packets go there, I'm going to now create a policy. I'm going to call it PX and give it a policy type, and I'll just call it tunnel flow. In this policy, I'm going to enter the flow entry, okay, that says, so I want to go from 10.200.10/24 to 10.200.2/24. I'll give it a priority, let's say 1000, and then I'll tell it to take tunnel TX, the one we just created. Right? And that's it. So if I look at the policy now, it shows me what I just entered, and it shows that the tunnel that it's going to take is this tunnel TX. If I look at the tunnel itself, it now shows that there is a policy PX taking that tunnel. And now if I go back and look at the groups that we were looking at, or in fact, if I watch it, I can now see that instead of taking the ECMP path, it is now taking the path that is going through the tunnel. So we just override using policy routing over the default routing. And this exact thing has already been, okay, let's see if I can implement this. This is now in the hardware switches. Notice that, well, let me clear this up. Notice that if I do show switch, and now instead of seeing the, well, let's see. If I do show switch on the software switches in Mininet, instead of seeing these sort of, fake DPIDs or fake MAC addresses, whatever MAC addresses we want, now you see the Dell DPID, and switches. So I had already pre-created a tunnel and a policy over there. So if I now look at the switch that let's see, and the ACL table in that switch, because the policy is implemented in the ACL table. In fact, if I watch it, I can see, and this is again pulling stuff out of the actual hardware, so I can see that the packets are incrementing because the packets are matching the same policy that I just showed you. Okay, so this is a very brief demo of some of the features that we have implemented, and if you want to look at all the features, there's many videos online that we have posted giving lots of details. But I want to take this opportunity now to send out an invitation, as there are many operators in this room. This is all thanks to ONF and ONLab and Dell. What we would like to do is that if you'd like to see this prototype in your lab, we will do that. This is an invitation. We'll come and set it up for you. We'll let you try it out. It's all completely free. Dell will provide all the hardware. And all we ask is feedback. Tell us what you like, what you don't like, what you'd like to see, and so on. Right? So this is an open invitation. You don't have to join anyone. You don't have to join the ONF even to avail of this opportunity. And if you call now, we will double the number of. Okay, that's all I had. Thank you very much.